So what are we doing today, Dylan? We're fixing to replace the culvert. See how poorly this culvert is now? It's got big chips in it. You can see the rebar. And it's not passing Dylan's inspection anymore. He always has to be in on the action. So anyway, this culvert needs to go. I'm gonna get a new one. This is all part of my plan to rejuvenate the lake and get it up to its total water capacity. So that's what the plan is today, and probably tomorrow and the next day. As you can see, this old cement and wire culvert has had better days, so it needs to be replaced. Of course, old Dylan, he's got to get involved in the action. He's got like 10 acres surrounding us, but he's got to eat the dirt and the grass that's on the culvert. He just wants to have some company. Well, if you've been watching YouTube regarding homesteads or ranches, you'll know one thing. If you want to do this type of lifestyle, don't be allergic to hard work. Because, well, unless you just have a whole lot of money, you're going to have to substitute some of the lack of money with just plain old laborious labor. So you can come and watch me while I pickaxe this culvert out of here. Again here, make my life a little bit easier. Of course, when it rains, it usually pours, and then it'd be so muddy I wouldn't be able to get it out that way. So sometimes it's hard to know what to wish for. Dylan, get off that camera. Just so you know, I've done this with another culvert, so I absolutely know how much work it is, and I'm sure all those of you that have excavators, you're probably knowing why you have them now. Looks like he has to inspect both sides. How you doing, Dylan? Inspecting my work. Dylan. What are you doing? Come here, Dylan. Come here, Dylan. Well, I'm tired for today. My back's pretty much done too. Before the car accident, I could do a whole lot more, but I don't think I'll ever be able to do that much again. Anyway, thanks for being with me, and I hope you have a good day. It's like having a supervisor that's eating lunch in front of you. It seems like this is the never-ending process, but just to show you how far I made it last time I was pickaxing this culvert, that's quite a bit. And I only have like, I don't know, another 3 feet before the whole cement culvert is exposed. So, looks like my supervisor is back. So anyway, it did rain yesterday, of course, because I left my tools out. Never fails. It's kind of like washing a car. Anyway, I'm gonna get to going. It's a nice cool day today, and I have people watching me here. So there it goes. Dylan, stop messing with that camera. Dylan, get out of there. It's not like it's not hard enough to get the video going correctly. just to let you know it's doable. Again, all that background noise you hear is Dylan fighting off the flies. He's only about a foot from me. He's just out of the camera. Making all kinds of noise. just as I had suspected. A lot of these culverts, when they show that kind of damage at the end, many times there's a break in the center. And there is a break right here in the center. I guess my other supervisor showed up too. So the cat was actually in the tunnel because it was scared of Dylan. So that's kind of good news. I was a little upset that this culvert looked like it was in awful good shape, but I don't even see the fragment on this one. I know I didn't do it from my little bit of banging. It's either that or there were actually two culverts here and they didn't quite get them directly opposed from one another. But there's a good sized crack here, and what happens over time is that eventually that'll crack off, and it looks like it actually was one piece, so I was right in knowing to replace this culvert based on what I had seen with another culvert that was also a cement culvert. So it's just a matter of time before this one let go, which in a way I guess will make it a little bit easier to remove it with the tractor, because I can probably grab it on both sides and pull it. It won't be such a load on the tractor itself. Once I get most of the dirt off the top and the sides, the tractor should be able to pull it up pretty easily. So yeah, the crack's about this big in it. So glad to know I was right, because I was getting a little upset that I was replacing a halfway decent culvert. So probably what I'll do is I might be able to repurpose this culvert. I know for sure that if I don't really repurpose it, I will break it up and use the crushed concrete for my driveway where I need more gravel. Since it's been about 8 years since I put down new gravel, it's kind of, dissipated. So, I mean, I felt like I spent a lot of money at the time to put down half the driveway's worth of gravel, but apparently I didn't spend enough. And looking back with inflation and all, I wish I had done the whole thing. Hindsight's 20/20, as they say. So I just wanted to show you how the joint between these two 8-foot cement culverts weren't placed. They might have been originally placed correctly together, but the pressure of the water pushed them apart when we had a huge storm. And you can see how when it leaked out, it cavitated behind that dirt. So, that's about, 8 inches of dirt with no support underneath of it. So perhaps if you're running some heavy equipment here or anything, if it just decided to give way, you'd go with it. So I'm glad that I'm replacing this culvert for the future safety aspect of it all. That crack is like quite literally right in the middle of where the road is, right here. So the rain really did help, because it was a lot harder along this culvert, as I recall. I was just that much more tired. It always seems easier when you first start out. You have a little bit more vigor. I'm just kind of excited that this is a two-part culvert. And then I was right in my decision, looking how the space is a good 5 inches or so. I don't want anybody falling through the hole or the water percolating back up. I'm really surprised the dirt capped over that big a gap, but as you can tell, it's pretty compacted dirt and hard. So my goal is to get all the dirt removed from that cement culvert to that cement culvert. I have about 3 feet. But boy, it's getting tough. It's pretty hard and it dives down deeper down there. It's about time for me to round up the chickens before the raccoon starts in on them. I guess I won't be able to finish what I set out to finish, but I tried. I get nervous. I don't want my chickens eaten. So, again with the culvert, I'm going to the barn to go pick up my supervisor. I promise you this is the last day of at least pickaxing and shoveling. Then I'm bringing out the big guns, the tractor. I'll pull it out. And then the rest of it is relatively easy, but I'll take you along for the journey. You can watch the whole process. It was always difficult to put a halter on him. He'd walk away. I think his experience with getting haltered was always a bad one. Not from me, but prior to it. Before, Dylan used to always not want to be haltered. He'd walk away, and I'm not going to chase him over that pasture there. So I realized that he doesn't like being here in the front pasture alone. So I kind of used that as a training technique to get the halter around him. So before, there's no way I could even get him in a halter. No, let's do it while I'm holding the camera. So he's learned to accept the idea that the halter's not a bad thing. As I was saying, Dylan didn't used to want to be in a halter, and he'd walk the other way. I'd have to trap him inside a smaller stall. So now he's more accepting of it, and I think he knows that he's just gonna enjoy himself. So anyway, if you've been watching this film at all, you know where we're going to. We're gonna go pickaxing. So I just thought I'd show you my commute down to the work area. So I'm traveling from the horse barn down toward the tractor barn. So not a bad commute. As you know, Dylan's been my ad hoc supervisor in the Culvert project. So thought let him take me down there for one last pickaxing session. Of course, once again, I left my tools out and it rained, but that's a good thing because it'll make the ground softer. I don't know if you can realize it, but pounding on that clay soil is what I would consider work. So I'm going to release Dylan from the halter. So I've trained him so that if I put my hand on the top of his head, he lowers his head because he knows he's going to get the halter off of him. And as you can see, he did. He used to raise his head up really quickly. I don't know who had abused him in the halter, but obviously he thought he was being abused. So now he's free to just follow me so he can supervise the job site. Thought the rain would have softened it up, but it sure doesn't feel like it. It feels just as hard as ever. You might be wondering why I have these orange cones on the property. Well, there's a story behind that one. When I first moved here, I didn't have a mower or anything, and the weeds got really high. And I went to go open the gate for the cows when I drove my truck down there, because I didn't have a gator either at the time. And I thought I knew where the gate was in relationship to a culvert. Well, apparently I didn't. So it was a concrete culvert just like this one, and I went over the edge of it. It didn't have any of those angled things on it that you'll see like on a state highway, so that in case somebody rolls over it, they won't just crash over the edge. Well, I crashed over the edge, and fortunately I did have my tractor here at the time. I was just kind of moving in, learning the lay of the land, and boy, did I learn the lay of the land the hard way. So my truck went in, down like 2 or 3 feet. So I pulled it out with the tractor, and nothing was hurt, or so I thought. The bumper didn't get hurt, nothing, everything looked fine. So I decided that enough with that, I was going to go to town, do some errands. So I stopped at the co-op, and I bought a few things, and I was coming out with my feed bag, and I looked down underneath my truck, and I see this huge puddle of fluid. Apparently, I had hit the oil pan. And of course, the wind has to start right in the middle of the story. Well, I was without a truck, and I drove it back home and bought some oil before I left. Got it back home, and I had to call someone to tow it. And at the time, I didn't know anybody. Fortunately, I met a pretty good mechanic, but and they took care of the problem. But of course, I thought I could do it, but I realized there was a cross beam across the bottom of the truck, and I just had a carport and no lift or anything. There's no way I was going to disengage the engine or pull the engine up so I could get to the oil pan. Anyway, long story short, what I'm trying to get at is 2 is 1 and 1 is 2. So because I didn't have a backup car or anything, I was pretty much stranded, which really kind of sucked because it was during the 4th of July, which tends to be one of my happier holidays that I like a lot. But anyway, that's why the cones are here. So I'm not gonna make you watch me dig anymore. It's pretty much a repetitive effort, but I'll show you at the end what I've accomplished. And when you see concrete all the way across, I'm pulling out that tractor and I'm gonna lift these things out of here. Anyway, that'll do it for today. This is my 4th or 5th day. I don't really know. The days are running in a row. I want to say it's really my 4th day of doing this activity. Of course, I'm not doing it all day. I just run out of energy, but I do it till I can't do it anymore, and then do it just a little bit more after that. So anyway, I'm going to end this video with thank you to everybody that's watching me on my struggles on the farm. Anyway, have a good day. Bye-bye. Well, it's starting to rain now, but I can say almost mission accomplished. You can see cement all the way up and back. I should be able to use the tractor to get it up, the rest of it up and out of here.